Hello. So I'm going to be honest. This video, and it's part 2 because there will be a second part. I'm splitting this up into talking about Gen 2 and Gen 5. Um, but these were supposed to come out like legitimately almost a month ago. But I got busy with other things, mainly rest and also finishing up Sonic Superstars. But as of when I'm recording this, um, they announced the Pokemon Presents for Pokemon Day of this year, a whole 7 days beforehand. So I'll have more thoughts toward the end of the second part for that. But yeah, that's about it. These were supposed to come out a while ago. But this part 1 is here now. The next part will probably be sometime around the weekend. At latest, it will be on Monday. And this part is talking about Johto. Like, talking about the setup for Pokemon Day and what I think we'll see there, and then Johto. What could be possible there. And the next part will be for Unova, and then at the end I'll put my thoughts, my updated thoughts, because these are a month old, and I've had time to think about a lot of stuff, and I'll make it quick at the end of that video. And I'll also be giving some details about what we'll be doing for the channel involving that. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. I made some visuals for it, and there's some cool logos and stuff people made that I would like for you to see. So, yeah, just enjoy the video, and then hopefully I'll see you for the next part, and then the news video that I make after the presents is over next week. So yeah, enjoy. So I'm back. Not exactly Pokemon Day, but it's Pokemon related, and Pokemon Day is coming soon. It's later. When am I posting this? It's later this month. Let's just say February, because I want to. So there are many rumors about what we're gonna get this upcoming February 27th, Pokemon Day, and I just thought I'd talk about the things that I think would happen or are more likely to happen. So I don't exactly have an intro for this, so we should just get going. Now, the main thing is something involving either Unova or Johto. Now, to preface this, I am black and white. Like, Gen 5 is one of my favorite generations, one of my 3 favorite generations of Pokemon. Well, 2 guaranteed, 1 maybe. It depends on how it goes. 5, 7, and then maybe 9. That depends on, ironically, what we get with this with these next couple Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day. But Gen 5 is one of my favorite generations. It was Gen 5 really locked me in to the series. So while in terms of interest, my interest would lean heavily toward Unova games, I'm gonna have to say that's absolutely not what we're about to get here. Just looking at their current pattern, which they have no reason to deviate from, by the way, we are currently in a position where it would make the most sense for something gold and silver related to come out. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. Could they do both? They absolutely have the money and resources, and they should have the development, like, they should have the manpower to do so, which is the most important thing here, and not the money part. That's not, it's been proven that it's not. So having that manpower and being given enough actual decent time to do either of them, I could see them doing both. And that would be the one outcome that I would prefer more than Gen 5 remakes, or Gen 5 anything. I don't hate Gen 2. I like every generation. It's just, I have my favorites, and then there's everything else. And, obviously, when it comes to getting remakes, I'd obviously want my favorites to get them. But that's not the point. The point is I see Gen 2 happening more than Gen 5. Now, what that thing is, we don't know. There have been rumors flying about for a bunch of shit. The only thing I can say is that I really don't feel like it matters who develops it. So originally I had like this long tangent about Ilka and Game Freak and basically everyone who makes a type of Pokemon game. But I figured it's too long and I was rambling too much and I wasn't exactly saying what I meant to say. I'll even shorten the statements that I made into basically one sentence after this part is done. But essentially, I don't care who makes it. It's very, very apparent that every single one of the people that makes Pokemon games can make good games under the right conditions. All I want is for them to be able to be in the right conditions to be able to make those games, because all of them can. Everyone, Game Freak, Ilka, Bandai Namco doesn't need to be talked about because they usually do real good, but they also they're still a development like area they apply, and yeah, that's basically about it. Because we know that all of them can make good games. Every single one of them has proven that they can. They just need to be in a position where they can actually do that, flex their creative strengths, and make games that are polished. And the thing about this is I don't even care, right? So long as I can actually play the game, so long as I'm not repeatedly and regularly clipping through the floor just by pushing the analog stick forward on a flat surface, I'm pretty much fine with basically whatever. Again, the gameplay for these games isn't exactly what I was playing them for. But yeah, I just it really is tiring to not be able to say anything about any of these games without hearing someone complaining about them. Not even the people complaining about it, because that's pretty much justified. It's people that will dismiss everything that you say because of how they turn out. So you want them to be better, not even just because you dislike them. It's just so that you can actually talk about it. But yeah, even this one's gonna have to be cut down. But I'll get back to the video now. Now, like I said, there are many rumors about what it could be. There's rumors of an HD 2D game. There's been rumors of something that's a lot more like Let's Go. There's been Legends Celebi rumors. I could see them doing two versions of both Johto and Unova, one normal remake and one Legends thing, because that's what they did for Sinnoh. And I think that would probably be the best way to go about it. You can stretch more content out using a basis that's already there. They could probably even mismatch it. We could probably end up like getting Gold Silver remakes, then Unova Legends game, and then like somewhere down the line we get Legends Johto game, and then Black White remakes. But it depends. There are many ways they could go about this. Now, the thing if it's being developed by Ilka, it could go many different ways. If it's something being developed by Game Freak, I am immediately deading the HD 2D idea, because it basically invalidates all the work that was done by Creatures and Game Freak for Scarlet and Violet, specifically Scarlet and Violet, because they remodeled a shit ton of Pokemon for those games, and Legends. So that kind of just like, what was the point if you're going to do that? So if it's a Game Freak, it's 3D, period. That's not the question. With Ilka, part of me wants to say they'll stay 3D because, brand consistency. But I'm not going to lie. I think it's possible for them to do it, and I can see them pulling it off. Now, am I going to lie and say that is my preferred type of game? No. I tend to like just full 3D games a lot more. Not just for the types of things that you can do with that type of game, but I don't know, something about having like actual, because you already have to model the 3D environments anyway, because they're usually 3D. Something about having those two things together, and then also having realistic lighting over top of pixels. I mean, it looks good, but I'm not entirely sure why right, like it feels kind of weird to me, and I'm not entirely sure why. I felt that when I was looking at Octopath Traveler, because I played the demo of it. Fun game. I don't know, the art style, I liked it, but it felt real weird to me. I don't know if it's something I just need to get used to. In terms of game content, this is another thing that could go any way. I'm more leaning toward it being something more like Gold and Silver with some crystal elements in it. Like, what? Like the how do I put this? Well, the thing is, in between versions, general Pokemon spawns change anyway. If I had to choose, I'd choose crystals, because, you know, third versions and enhanced versions usually have more variety in terms of their Pokemon, where their Pokemon are, and what Pokemon are available. Otherwise, I think, if I remember correctly, I don't have much experience with Gen 2 and Gen 1. If I remember correctly, the Legendary Beasts didn't have that much of a presence in Gold and Silver. But either way, I know that they did more with them in Crystal than Gold and Silver, so they absolutely have to include that. Let's see here. The Battle Tower was added in Crystal also, if I remember correctly, but that should also be there. Since, you know, that a Battle Tower is basically the only version of a battle facility you can really expect in these games as a current. So I think that should be there. It's really hard to say anything without knowing any more details other than who could be developing it, and the fact that it's coming in the first place. Now, the Legends Johto, or what people are calling Legends Celebi, because really it can't really be much of anything else, because, you know, Celebi is the mythical for that gen. Just like how Mew was the mythical for Gen 1. And that would be interesting. But it's because of all the events that we would be able to see if it happened. Right? Because a lot of, like, taking the around 250 years ago time placement that Legends Arceus had, and knowing that 2 and 4 take place around the same time, that means we would be around that same era. So Legends Arceus would probably happen around the same time as this Legends game if they did the same time period thing. And I'm pretty sure that things like the Burned Tower happened around then. So what that means is, like, we could see the events that led up to that and see it happen in real time. I'm honestly more excited to see if they'll show us what the legendary beasts looked like before they were revived. I mean, would it be safe to say they kept it a mystery this entire time? If, like, they basically did that, and you don't exactly do that if it just looked the same as it does now. My favorite idea for that is that, because there was that huge leak of, like, beta stuff for Pokemon in 2019 to 2020, that, like, 3-year period. And we got to see things like the beta gold and silver sprites. My favorite idea is that those were what were in the tower, burned, and then got revived and became the legendary beast that we know of. Also, with Legends, we also have to be very conscious of the fact that they can, in fact, just add another legendary to trios, like they did with the genies from Unova. Now, from what I remember, if I remember correctly, that made sense, because the things that the original 3 genies were based on originally had a 4th thing in their mythology that just was never represented until Legends. But I think if they really wanted to, they could set a precedent for Legends games where not only would a mythical Pokemon be the main focus of the game, but it would also add more to the existing how would I say this, mythology in terms of legendary trios. So like for instance, because Johto and Sinnoh have such a strong connection, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this is like a stretch because these Pokemon play a very specific role in Sinnoh. But maybe if there was like, I don't know, a fourth lake. What are they? Fairies, elves? I don't remember what they are, but like a fourth one of those. It's just an example. I doubt they do that again, given their very specific placement. There are 3 lakes, and Sinnoh, 3 of them. But that's like an example of the stuff they could do with it. And I've talked about Johto this entire time. I think I'm gonna leave that tangent in. In terms of the content in the games, I don't exactly care. All I really want is to be able to have fun with the game. Now, the main reason I play Pokemon is for anything but the gameplay. So as long as the gameplay is like it is in normal Pokemon, which is it's just there, I don't care. I'm more there for the world and the characters and the Pokemon in it. So I'm basically guaranteed to like most of the games that they make, purely because of that. In terms of gameplay, though, if it's a Legends game, it'd probably be like Legends Arceus, just in a different setting. They could add something new gameplay wise, but both of those games have to deal with time in some way, especially given that Celebi itself travels through time. So, time space distortions could also come back because the time space continuum in this world is beyond fucked. Like it just happens all the time. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see the world itself because that's mainly what I can see changing because that's always what changes in a Pokemon game. Because just like other countries, Japan, its different areas had different cultures at different times, and it'd be fun to see how exactly like that Johto area differentiated from Hisui at around that same time, if they decide to do it at that same time. So we talked about Johto a lot. Basically, it's just I can't really see, especially with normal gold and silver. Heart gold, soul silver is already such a high bar. The best thing for them to do would just be to make that, but in 3D or HD 2D, and then release that. But add the fairy type and a bunch of other shit. It'd be interesting to see what they do with it. But the gold and silver already have such a high bar with the fan base and just the series in general that the only real way they aren't going to piss someone off is by doing Heart Gold and Soul Silver again. Because, that not only is that game but updated, but it also deals with the DS and 3DS, mainly DS, but also 3DS. Secondary market being sheer AIDS. Those prices are dumb. So yeah, that's where I'm on with that. Even if they do Heart Gold Soul Silver again, they're guaranteed to piss someone off because then there's those people who wanted a remake of the original Gold and Silver. Look, the point is, they really aren't going to truly win with unless they do like just Heart Gold Soul Silver again. Even then, they'll still lose somewhat. So I'm not exactly like I can just see this going any way possible. If they want good graces, they'll go with trying to rival Heart Gold Soul Silver. If that succeeds, we won't know until we see it. But yeah, so that's the end of the Johto section. Overall, Legends. Let's just say Legend Celebi. Let's refer to it as Legend Celebi. Legend Celebi. I could see it being a lot like Legends Arceus, just in a different setting. They could introduce something gameplay-wise. I'm just not entirely sure what that would be. I think Legends on its own is already good enough gameplay-wise. I think the biggest thing would be to introduce maybe abilities or held items, one of the two, not both, into the battle system. And then with Gold Silver remakes, you really can only do Heart Gold Soul Silver but in 3D and add stuff to it if you don't want people saying it's a downgrade, and they can play it for free by emulating it. So that's the Johto section right there. That's basically my thoughts on this. So I'll see you whenever I see you. So later.